Welcome again to Heartfelt Moments, the channel where we share inspiring stories that celebrate kindness, compassion, and the power of human connection. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We bring you daily videos that will uplift your spirit and remind you of the incredible difference one act of kindness can make. Now, let me ask you this. What would you do if a complete stranger came into your life and changed it forever? Imagine you're struggling to make ends meet, carrying the weight of countless challenges, and suddenly, someone steps forward with a gift so life-changing, it feels like a miracle. That's the story we're sharing today. A story of generosity, resilience, and hope. It's the tale of a mysterious secret Santa, someone who chose to remain anonymous, but whose actions spoke louder than words. This person made the decision to change a family's life in the most extraordinary way, by giving them a brand new home to call their own and an entire year's worth of groceries to lift their burdens. Picture this family. A family who has faced hardship after hardship but never lost their strength or their will to move forward. They've experienced moments when even the basics, like food and shelter, felt out of reach. But through it all, they held on to their love for each other and their hope for a better future. What they didn't know was that someone had been watching. Someone who saw not just their struggles but their incredible determination and spirit. That someone was the secret Santa. Quietly, they set their plan into motion, working tirelessly to create a moment this family would never forget. They didn't just offer temporary relief, they offered a fresh start, a new chapter, and a reminder that there is still kindness in the world. Now imagine the moment when the family learns the truth. They're standing there, completely unaware of what's about to unfold, when suddenly, everything changes. They're told they have a new home, a place they can finally call their own, and that for the next year, they won't need to worry about groceries. The shock, the tears, the joy. It's a moment so powerful, it touches everyone who hears about it. But this story doesn't stop there. It's about more than just the gifts. It's about how kindness creates ripples, how one act of compassion can inspire others to look out for their neighbors, to lend a helping hand, and to believe in the goodness of humanity. So stay with us, because this story is filled with moments that will move you. The family's journey, the secret Santa's heartfelt mission, the unforgettable reveal, and the lasting impact this act of kindness had on everyone involved. By the end of this video, you'll see how one person's generosity can truly change the world, one family at a time. Let's begin. To truly appreciate the impact of this remarkable act of kindness, we need to step into the lives of the family at the heart of this story. A family who faced immense challenges, yet never let their circumstances define their spirit. The Johnson family, as we'll call them to respect their privacy, had been through more than their fair share of struggles. Life hadn't been easy for them, to say the least. With two young children, Emma and Noah, both under the age of 10, the parents, Sarah and James, worked tirelessly to provide for their family. But even with their best efforts, it felt like the odds were always stacked against them. James worked long hours at a local factory, often picking up extra shifts just to make ends meet. Sarah, on the other hand, balanced part-time work as a cashier while caring for their children. Yet, despite their hard work, the rising cost of living left them constantly scrambling to keep a roof over their heads and food on the table. Their home was a modest, aging rental in need of serious repairs. The walls were cracked, the roof leaked when it rained, and during winter, the heating barely worked, forcing them to bundle up in layers to stay warm. The small kitchen, though filled with the aroma of Sarah's home-cooked meals, had outdated appliances that frequently broke down, adding another layer of stress to their already difficult lives. But even in the face of these hardships, the Johnsons never lost their kindness or hope. Sarah was known in their community for always lending a helping hand, whether it was watching a neighbor's child or sharing a warm meal with someone in need. James was equally admired for his quiet strength and willingness to help others fix a leaky faucet or move heavy furniture, even after a grueling day at work. What stood out most about this family was their unwavering love for each other. No matter how tight money was or how challenging the day had been, they always found ways to laugh together, to encourage each other, and to hold on to their dreams of a better future. It was this resilience, this kindness in the face of adversity, that caught the attention of someone very special. Enter the secret Santa, a person whose identity remains a mystery to this day. What we do know is that this individual has made it their mission to seek out families like the Johnsons, families who have given so much to others despite having so little themselves. This secret Santa believes in the power of kindness, in the idea that even one act of generosity can transform a life, a family, or even an entire community. The Johnsons had no idea they were on the secret Santa's radar. They had no idea that someone had been quietly observing their struggles, their resilience, and their goodness. But that's the beauty of this story. The secret Santa didn't choose the Johnsons because of their hardships alone. They chose them because of the way they faced those hardships, with strength, with kindness, and with a belief that brighter days were still ahead. The planning for this life-changing surprise took months. The secret Santa worked in secret, collaborating with community members and local organizations to ensure every detail was perfect. From finding the ideal home to stocking it with essentials, and even arranging for a year's worth of groceries, no stone was left unturned. This wasn't just about giving a gift. It was about creating a foundation for a new beginning. A chance for the Johnsons to finally breathe, to finally feel secure, and to finally believe that their kindness and hard work had not gone unnoticed. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on the magnitude of what the secret Santa was about to do. For a family who had spent years living paycheck to paycheck, constantly worrying about bills and basic necessities, this wasn't just a gesture of goodwill. It was a lifeline, a moment that would redefine their future in ways they couldn't even imagine. So, how did it all unfold? How did the Johnsons react when they learned that their lives were about to change forever? We'll get to that in just a moment, but for now, let's hold on to this thought. Kindness has a way of finding us when we least expect it. And for the Johnson family, kindness was about to knock on their door in the most extraordinary way. As we step deeper into this incredible journey, we enter a world of quiet planning and meticulous coordination. A world where the tiniest details matter, where every decision has the power to change lives forever. The Secret Santa's plan wasn't just a simple gift. It was an elaborate and thoughtful process, a mission driven by an overwhelming desire to make a difference in the lives of those who least expect it but truly deserve it. And every step of the way, the Johnson family had no idea what was happening behind the scenes. It all started with a decision made by someone who believes in the power of giving, in the power of changing lives through simple acts of kindness. The first step was to find the perfect home for the Johnsons. After all, they had been living in a small, run-down house that, despite their best efforts, couldn't keep up with their needs. The house had been a symbol of their struggle, but this new home would symbolize hope, stability, and a fresh start. But finding the right house wasn't as easy as it seemed. The Secret Santa wanted to ensure that this was more than just a roof over their heads. It needed to be a place where the family could grow, a space that would allow them to thrive. The location had to be ideal, close enough to the children's school, with a safe and welcoming neighborhood. It also had to be affordable enough to keep it within reach, without raising any suspicions. The Secret Santa worked quietly with a local real estate agent, carefully selecting a home that met all these criteria, but without ever revealing the true purpose of the purchase. Every document was signed under a false name, every step taken in silence. To the outside world, this was just another real estate transaction, but to the Johnsons, it would soon become their new life. But the new home was just the beginning. The Secret Santa knew that it wasn't just about providing a place to live. It was about giving the family the comfort and security they had longed for. So, the next step was arranging for a year's worth of groceries, a gesture that would take a massive weight off their shoulders. The logistics of this weren't simple. The Secret Santa coordinated with local grocery stores and delivery services to ensure that everything was covered: fresh produce, canned goods, essentials like milk and bread, along with a variety of items that would make the Johnsons' meals exciting and enjoyable. The goal wasn't just to fill their pantry, but to show them that they were cared for, that they mattered. The amount of effort involved in arranging for the groceries was staggering. Every item was carefully chosen, considering the family's preferences, dietary needs, and even the children's favorites. The Secret Santa worked with local volunteers, neighbors, and even store employees to discreetly collect and organize everything, ensuring that the delivery would go off without a hitch. But as much as the new home and groceries were crucial parts of the surprise, the most delicate part of the plan was keeping everything a secret. The Secret Santa was well aware that the slightest slip-up could ruin the entire surprise. The family had to be kept in the dark until the very last moment. So, behind the scenes, a network of people was quietly working to make the surprise come to life. Local volunteers were tasked with keeping the family occupied and distracted. Friends of the Johnsons were involved in helping with the logistics, ensuring that the family would be out of the house when the moving truck arrived, for instance. There were small but vital steps taken to ensure that the family wouldn't suspect anything. A neighbor would casually mention that there was a charitable organization in the area, just to keep the idea of an unexpected surprise on their radar. A delivery service would make a routine stop at the Johnsons' house, only to drop off a small box with a holiday gift inside. A tactic to keep the family's curiosity piqued but unaware of what was really happening. The closer it got to the big day, the more the secrecy became a challenge. The Secret Santa knew that it was crucial to maintain the illusion until the moment was right. Every phone call, every email, every meeting was done with care. Even the team of volunteers knew to keep quiet, not uttering a word to anyone, even if they were tempted to share the good news. Through it all, the Johnson family continued their daily lives, completely unaware of the grand plans unfolding around them. They carried on with their work, their school runs, their small moments of joy. And yet, in the background, everything was changing. Slowly, surely, and with great purpose. As the day of the reveal approached, there was a growing sense of excitement among those in the know. The volunteers, the delivery people, the community members, everyone was buzzing with anticipation. They couldn't wait to see the look on the Johnsons' faces when they walked into their new home, when they realized that their lives were about to change forever. And so, as the final pieces fell into place, groceries packed, house keys ready, and the family still blissfully unaware, the stage was set for the surprise of a lifetime. What had started as a simple idea had blossomed into a full-scale operation, all driven by the powerful belief that one act of kindness can make all the difference. The moment was near, and all that was left was for the Secret Santa's plan to come to fruition. A few more steps, a little more patience, and soon, the Johnsons would experience something they'd never dreamed possible. The gift of a new home, the gift of security, and the gift of a community that cared for them in ways they could never have imagined. The day the Johnson family would never forget had arrived. It was a bright and sunny morning, one that seemed almost too perfect to be true. The family had no idea that, behind the scenes, an intricate web of plans was set into motion for a life-changing surprise. For the Johnsons, today was just another normal day, filled with the usual routine, nothing out of the ordinary. But as they went about their morning, little did they know that their world was about to be turned upside down in the most beautiful way possible. The plan for the big reveal had been carefully orchestrated. The Secret Santa knew that this moment would need to be nothing short of magical. So, they decided to surprise the Johnson family in a way that would truly leave a mark. Something completely unexpected that would take their breath away. The family had no inkling of what was in store, so the element of surprise was key. The family was told that they had been nominated for a special community appreciation event by some of their friends and neighbors who had recognized their constant acts of kindness despite their own struggles. As a small token of gratitude, they had been invited to a community gathering that was being held at a local park. A simple, everyday setting, yet one that would soon become the backdrop for a moment of pure emotion. The Johnsons were told to meet at the park later in the afternoon. They left their house, not expecting that everything they knew was about to change. Their kids, playful and excited, asked why they were going to the park, but the parents, not wanting to spoil the surprise, just smiled and said they'd see when they got there. The anticipation built as they made their way to the park, completely unaware of what awaited them. When they arrived, the family was met with a cheerful scene. Volunteers from the community were there, greeting them with smiles and friendly waves, acting as though it was a normal gathering. But as they approached the center of the park, something seemed a little off, a little too organized, a little too polished for a casual community event. There were tables covered in festive decorations, with people standing around, clapping and laughing. And in the distance, something caught their eye, a large banner that read, surprise for the Johnson family. The moment they read those words, the reality of what was happening started to sink in. The family exchanged confused looks, unsure of what to expect. That was when they noticed a small crowd gathered around the center of the park. The air seemed to change as the family walked closer, and suddenly, everything felt charged with a quiet, palpable energy. And then, in the blink of an eye, the Secret Santa revealed themselves. From behind a cluster of people stepped the person responsible for it all. They had been quietly overseeing everything from behind the scenes, but now they were standing before the family, smiling warmly. The family's confusion deepened as they tried to process who this person was. The Secret Santa didn't waste any time, immediately speaking to the Johnsons with genuine warmth and excitement. "We've been watching your story, and we believe that kindness should be met with kindness," the Secret Santa said, their voice steady but filled with emotion. "You've been through so much, yet you always find ways to help others. Today, it's our turn to help you." Before the family could even respond, the crowd parted, and the first big surprise was revealed. There, standing in front of them, was the key to their new home. The look on the Johnsons' faces was pure shock. They stared at the key in disbelief, unable to comprehend what was happening. The kids' eyes widened, their mouths hanging open as they looked from the key to their parents and back again. The mother, overcome with emotion, covered her face with her hands, unable to hold back the tears that began to fall. The father, his eyes wide with amazement, looked at the key in his hand, then back to the Secret Santa, struggling to find words. Is this real?" the father stammered, his voice trembling with emotion. The crowd around them erupted into applause, the air filled with cheers and claps of excitement. The Secret Santa nodded and smiled, gently confirming the reality of the moment. "Yes, it's real. Your new home is waiting for you." The mother, overwhelmed with gratitude, wiped her tears away and took a deep breath. This can't be happening," she whispered. We don't know what to say." But the Secret Santa wasn't finished. They motioned toward a nearby truck that had been parked on the edge of the park. As the truck doors opened, an even bigger surprise emerged. Bags and boxes filled with groceries, carefully packed and organized, were brought forward. Groceries that would be enough to feed the family for an entire year. Each box was labeled with care, each item carefully chosen to meet the family's needs. From fresh produce to staple items like bread and milk, the truck was packed with all the essentials and more. The look on the Johnsons' faces shifted from shock to pure joy. Their mouths dropped open as they saw the groceries. The father shook his head, still unable to believe it. "We've never had anything like this," he said, his voice hoarse with emotion. This is too much. We don't deserve this." The Secret Santa looked at them, a soft smile spreading across their face. "You don't have to say anything. You deserve all of this and more. You've shown love and kindness to others, and now, it's our turn to give back." The family embraced each other, their emotions overflowing. The mother, still teary-eyed, pulled her children into a tight hug. "This is a dream," she whispered. "I can't believe it's real." The neighbors, who had quietly watched the moment unfold, gathered around them, offering congratulations and sharing in their joy. The community that had been so generous in keeping the surprise under wraps now stood together, celebrating the beauty of giving, of supporting one another in times of need. The Johnsons, though overwhelmed, were filled with gratitude beyond measure. They had come to the park expecting nothing more than a small gesture of appreciation, but what they received was far beyond what they ever imagined. A new home, a year's worth of groceries, and, most importantly, a reminder that kindness can make the world a better place, one family at a time. As they stood together, surrounded by friends, neighbors, and strangers who had become part of their extended family, the mother spoke through her tears, her voice strong with gratitude. "We will never forget this. Thank you, from the bottom of our hearts. You've given us more than we could ever repay. You've given us hope." And with those words, the story of the Johnson family and their incredible surprise ended not just with joy, but with a renewed a belief that, in this world, there are still people who care, who are willing to go the extra mile to make a difference in the lives of others. It was a moment that would live in their hearts forever. A reminder that sometimes the greatest gift is the gift of kindness. The day of the surprise was just the beginning of a life-changing journey for the family. Moving into their new home was more than just a fresh coat of paint and a new set of keys. It was a beacon of hope in a world that had often seemed dark and uncertain. For years, they had struggled with not only financial hardships, but also with the emotional toll of worrying where their next meal would come from or if they would have a stable roof over their heads. Now, they had a place to call their own, a safe, warm, and welcoming environment where their dreams could flourish. The new home became a symbol of something far greater than the physical structure. It was a new beginning. The family had spent countless nights in cramped apartments or unreliable housing situations, but this home was different. It was theirs. Every wall, every room, every corner now had a story to tell. The children, once confined to a small space, now had their own rooms to decorate, to grow, and to be free. The parents, once burdened by the stress of constant financial strain, could finally exhale. They could focus on building a future for their children rather than worrying about the next bill or eviction notice. One of the most touching aspects of this gift was the year's worth of groceries. It wasn't just about having enough food to last through the month or the week. It was the peace of mind it brought. The family didn't have to worry about whether they could afford a healthy meal tonight or how they would feed their children tomorrow. For the first time in a long while, they could plan their meals without fear, knowing they had a stockpile of groceries that would take them through the year. Fresh produce, pantry staples, and everyday necessities were now abundant, and that brought a sense of security that no amount of money could buy. This incredible gesture also had a profound emotional and psychological impact on the family. It was more than just material things. It was the restoration of their faith in humanity. The family had faced hardship after hardship, but in that moment of surprise, they were reminded that kindness still exists in this world, that there are people who care, even without knowing them personally. It rekindled a sense of hope, not only for their future but also for the future of those they could help in turn. They realized that they were not alone, that there was a greater sense of community out there, one that values compassion and generosity above all else. In the weeks and months following the surprise, the family's perspective on life began to shift. The constant weight of financial worry had been lifted, and they could now focus on living fully and joyfully. The father, who had been the primary breadwinner, spoke of how the stress of always trying to make ends meet had taken a toll on his health and well-being. "It feels like a weight has been lifted off my chest," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "I've never been able to give my family this kind of security before. It's like we've been given a second chance, and I'm not going to waste it." The mother, equally moved, shared her gratitude for the opportunity to provide her children with a stable environment. "I never thought something like this could happen to us. I can't even explain what it means to know my children have a home to grow up in. They deserve this kind of security, and for the first time, I feel like I can give that to them. I'm so thankful, so blessed." The children, too, had their own reflections. The youngest, still too young to fully understand the magnitude of the gift, was simply overjoyed to have a room of her own. "I have my own bed now," she exclaimed, smiling ear to ear. The older child, a teenager, shared how the gesture had affected her outlook on life. "It's more than just a house. It's the feeling of being wanted, of being cared for," she said. "I've never felt this way before. I can't wait to do something good for someone else one day." The emotional ripple effect of this act of kindness stretched beyond the family itself. The community, too, had been deeply moved by the generosity. Neighbors who had watched the family struggle for years now saw them walking with a newfound confidence. The children were smiling more, playing outside without a care, and the parents were more involved in the community, volunteering, and helping others who were going through similar hardships. As the months went by, the family's life transformed. The financial struggles, though not entirely gone, were no longer all-consuming. The mother was able to take up a part-time job that allowed her to pursue her passion for teaching, while the father was able to focus on his health, something he had neglected for years. They started dreaming again, planning for the future with hope rather than fear. They had a sense of stability that allowed them to think beyond day-to-day survival, to think about the opportunities their children would have as they grew. The family's story is one of resilience, yes, but also of the profound impact that kindness can have when it's least expected. A single act of generosity changed their lives, not just in material terms, but in ways that went deep into their hearts. They learned that the world could be a kind and caring place, and that love and compassion still had the power to transform. This act of kindness reminded them, and all of us, how powerful a simple gesture can be. It's not just about giving something tangible. It's about giving hope, about restoring faith in humanity, and about showing that kindness is still alive and well in a world that can sometimes seem too focused on the negative. And for this family, this Secret Santa's gift wasn't just a house and groceries. It was a renewed sense of possibility. They didn't just receive material things. They received a gift that would keep on giving, changing their lives for years to come. In the heart of this incredible story lies a powerful message. Kindness has the ability to change lives. It's a reminder that no act of generosity, no matter how small it may seem, can ever be underestimated. Sometimes, it only takes one person to spark a transformation, as we've seen in this story. The Secret Santa, without any recognition or fame, simply wanted to offer a family in need a fresh start. Through their quiet actions, they set off a chain reaction of positivity and gratitude, one that will echo in the lives of that family forever. This story reminds us of the ripple effect of kindness. It's more than just the immediate help. It's the lasting impact it leaves behind. By helping someone in need, you may not just change their day or their week. You could change the course of their life. Think about the profound effect that a simple act of compassion can have. Perhaps it's paying for a stranger's meal, offering a ride to someone who's struggling to get to work, or even just lending an ear to someone who's having a tough time. All these little acts can add up, creating a world that's just a little bit kinder, a little bit better. And it doesn't end with one act. Kindness can multiply in ways we might never see. The family who received such an overwhelming gift will no doubt pass on that kindness to others. They might help a neighbor, volunteer in their community, or simply show more love to those around them. The act of giving, once it takes root, grows and spreads, weaving a stronger and more compassionate community. Now, think about this. How can you be a part of this ripple effect? How can you make a difference, even in the smallest way? Maybe you've been inspired by this story to take a moment to brighten someone's day, and perhaps that person will carry that kindness with them, passing it forward to others. At Heartfelt Moments, we believe in the power of kindness. Every small act counts, and together, we can create a more compassionate world. So, we challenge you today. What will you do to make a difference? Whether it's helping a neighbor, donating to a cause you believe in, or simply sharing a kind word with someone, remember that every action matters. Even the smallest gesture can have a lasting impact. Take a moment today to pay it forward. Start a chain reaction of kindness in your own community. It doesn't have to be grand. It just needs to be heartfelt. Together, we can create a world where kindness is the norm, not the exception. And as always, if this story inspired you, consider sharing it with others. Let's continue to spread positivity and kindness, one story at a time. Thank you so much for joining us today at Heartfelt Moments. We hope this story of generosity and kindness has touched your heart as much as it has ours. It's incredible to see how one act of kindness can completely transform the lives of others. From the family's struggles to the life-changing surprise, we've witnessed the power of compassion firsthand. And that's a lesson we can all carry with us. We hope this story reminds you that kindness doesn't always have to be grand or expensive. Sometimes, the smallest gesture can have the biggest impact. So, let's all try to be someone's Secret Santa, whether it's through a helping hand, a listening ear, or simply sharing a smile. The world could always use more of that. If you were inspired by this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Heartfelt Moments for more stories that celebrate kindness and remind us all of the goodness in the world. Leave a comment and let us know what you think. How do you spread kindness in your community? We'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're new here, be sure to hit that notification bell so you never miss an uplifting story. Remember, kindness is contagious. Let's keep the ripple going. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Let's all continue spreading kindness wherever we go. Take care, and stay kind.